Welcome once again to Boredom Seated. I'm Michael,
And I'm John.
and today we continue our Dark Sun coverage with the prospects of magic. In Dark Sun, wizardly magic is divided into two distinct schools of thought: preserving and defiling. Both are about drawing power from life itself. And let's begin with the origins of magic. Thousands of years from the current timeline, there was this creature, um, a race called the Pyrenes, and they were beautiful bird-like creatures, except for one. That one was named Rajat. Rajat, unlike his very beautiful and serene and powerful brethren, was twisted both physically and spiritually. That's how the law goes, anyway. Well, Rajat had one thing going for him. He had a supreme intellect, and he had a mastery of the way, which is, of course, the Dark Sun term for psionics. And he experimented and found out that in life, all life, there was power, power that can be converted and used as magic. So he experimented. He found an area to conduct his experiments and a place called the Jagged Cliffs. And he drew power from there, and he mastered both preserving and defiling magic. Although he preferred to use defiling magic because it's quicker, and he didn't really care about the environment that much. So eventually, he learned how to combine those two, uh, defiling and psionic magic, and he created something called the Dark Lenses. The Dark Lenses are an obsidian artifact that is one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in any D&D campaign, especially in second edition. Roughly, it like lenses, it magnifies the power of the user, especially in spells. It magnifies the power by 10 times. That means every number that on a spell, 10 times the range, 10 times the area of effect, 10 times the damage and the duration. And yeah, he used that to create. He transformed his best students into his champions, and then started what is known as the Cleansing Wars. Now that will be in a future video, but that's the beginnings of magic.
And
Now,
let's add that he only taught preserving magic to the outside, so everybody was using preserving it. Only his champions got defiling magic.
the good stuff.
That was the quick way to
Power.
advance in levels, as they say.
To
It
power,
was
yes,
a
yes,
very quick way.
yes. So the difference. Let's go with first with defiling. Defilers don't care about what they do to the land. They draw their power directly from the life force of plants, and they leave a scorched radius around them of ash, blackened ash. So it's very easy to spot them. Very difficult to disguise the fact that you're defiling when like maybe 10 feet around you or 20 feet around you, it's all blackened, scorched ash. And additional spells that you cast from that region just keep expanding that area of ash. Preservers, however, they take a little bit more time with their spell casting. They draw power from multiple plants, animals, whatever else, so that they don't cause any permanent damage. The Defilers, when they cast their spells, if you're within the area of effect in second edition, it just simply means you lost initiative. But as the more powerful they became, Defiler magic, as the lore goes, starts affecting animals and then starts affecting people. It can actually kill you at higher levels. So, what's the point of defiling magic, other than just simply gathering more powerful spells and such? Well, in the sacred text somewhere, in some tomb somewhere, and in the hearts of every single sorcerer king and queen in Athas, is the secrets of dragon metamorphosis, or the defiling metamorphosis, the mythical 10th level of spells. And when a defiler gets to be either a dual class as a human, because humans are the best,
In second edition
or
D&D.
or a multi-classed half elf that got to 20th level defiler and 20th level psionicist, you get a chance to go embark on the last 10 levels, transforming slowly, usually over centuries, into a dragon. 30th level creature of unmatched power, immortality. As soon as you actually cast the spell, you become immortal, which is a good part. However, each and every step is friggin' hard as heck. It's almost harder than the previous steps. You have to literally spend a king's ransom every single time. That's destroyed every single time.
And kill tons of people every
And you
single
kill
time.
tons of people, thousands of people per level. It's not easy. And
It
it's not
keeps
there's not many
growing.
people left.
The amount of people you have to kill for that spell is
It's
enormous every time.
rough. It is rough, yeah.
And the spell may kill you.
And yes, yes, that's right. There's no guarantee, just like the Avagian, the Preserver transformation, where you turn into a big moth. So it's an angelic moth. That's what the Avagian is. Both require a tremendous amount of treasure. The Avagian doesn't require the deaths of so many people as if any, as the Defiler, but it's not an easy task either, and often requires you to leave Athas to other planes of existence and get allies and do all sorts of weird solo quests. Yeah, so that is the end, be all end all of the Preserver and the Defiler path. So that's Magic in a nutshell. There's a purpose beyond just simply gaining more power. The end goal is immortality. Since there are no gods in Dark Sun, and according to lore may never have been any gods, you gotta find your own way to become absolutely invincible, or as close to it as you can. Now, in one of the things in the lore and in the books about magic is, and also psionics, is that obsidian is a very important component in a lot of psionic and magical devices. It seems to focus things, just like the dark lenses are made out of obsidian. One of the things that Dark Sun has that's different from other worlds is potion fruit. They don't have normal vials of liquid um, to drink whenever you need to heal or fly or get resistance. You have potion fruits that you eat. Or if it requires like silver sheen or something that maybe fire resistance, you smear the juices on yourself and that provides the resistance.
Remember, water is very rare.
And it's valuable. It's very valuable.
You're not going to make a potion. You're going to make a potion fruit because you're going to eat at the same time.
Also, another thing about the interesting thing is magic items and scrolls. If you can somehow find scrolls, which is in itself a treasure because they're made from paper and there are not that many trees. Well, there are trees, but they're guarded a lot of times. Literacy is not exactly the highest priority in Dark Sun. Is that when you use defiling magic to create a magic item, for instance, when you utilize a scroll or a magic item, it doesn't defile. The magic's already in there, so it doesn't. I just read that. That was an interesting aspect of magic use in this world. Oh, and there's also a very vital and very important spell that's found in both the wizards and the priests' spell books or repertoires, and that is the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life is actually a sentient tree. It's got powers of its own. If you touch it, you get access to 4 different spells, including the Mighty Heal. Second edition Heal is phenomenal. It heals you for like everything except 1d4 hit points, so it's nice. And it also has levels of its own. And what these levels are for is Defilers and Preservers can use it to cast their spells. So if you see tons of these trees of life in an area, like in the private gardens of sorcerer kings and queens, it's used to fuel their spells. And these trees recover, they regenerate. So they can cast spells over and over, really mighty spells over and over again, without absolutely defoliating what's left. Or in their case, because they are actually dragons, a spoiler, they won't kill their entire city casting mighty spells. So let's get to some things that are unique even more things that are unique to Dark Sun involving magic, or specifically wizard magic. The dimensions that are adjacent to the prime material plane that where Athas sits. Now, there is a dimension called black. This is a realm of shadows, as you might think it is. Place of cold, obviously darkness, and it can. There's a portal. There are portals to Athas through shadows. Here dwells shadow giants, and as the name implies, you don't want to meet them if you don't have to. They were originally the halfling servants of Rajat that got transformed over top of the millennia into shadow giants. And let's see, the other dimension is called the Gray. This is the afterlife of Athas. This is where ghosts and spirits remain when they are not trying to cross over into Athas to haunt the living. Most souls or spirits that go here eventually give up their previous commitments, and they dissipate and become part of the Gray. Unless you're a dwarven banshee, then you're undead. But still. But if you have enough will, if you're duty bound, if you're just a strong enough personality and you just know you have got something left to do in the world or some duty to perform, you can linger around for centuries. And this, one of the significant parts about this is the Gray separates Athas, the world of Athas, from the astral and the etheric plane. So it prevents people from planar traveling very easily. It actually makes it much more difficult. The elemental planes, however, are closer, and you can travel there a bit more easy. But other than that, it pretty much segregates Athas from the rest of the multiverse. As it were. You can't go through Ravenloft too easily, although Ravenloft can come to you, but more on that later. And you can't easily travel to the other D&D worlds very easily.
And of course, the Gray and the Black are also sources of power for mages. You still need to defile or preserve, but you can get some necromantic power from the Gray, get some shadow powers from the Black. All these are kits that were described in a later book, Preservers and Defilers of Athas. That was the main wizard book. There's a whole bunch of kits in there. Not going to go over all of them. Some of them are really bad. There is one for advanced beings.
There's no benefits. There's no benefits to some of these things.
There's some people that are like basically eco-destruction terrorists.
Terrorists.
Just destroy everything and
bunch of psychopaths.
Then there's the preserving people, and it's a little bit weird. But there's the advanced being one. So if you want to take a kit that says, "Hey, I'm aspiring to be an advanced being," it's available in there, and describes a lot of the metamorphosis of the dragon and the Evasion in more detail than what Dragon Kings had. That was the first time the metamorphosis powers came from.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you would think, what do the people of Athas think of all these magicians? And they don't like them at all.
They had the exact same policy that the people of Salem had. Burn them. Burn the witch. That's what they have. They can't differentiate between preserving and defiling. All magic is evil. So burn it.
Now that's in most places. Yeah. Only in Tyr, after Kalak's death, the sorcerer king Kalak was killed. They became a free state. Some preserving, here and there, not too much. Everywhere else, it's banned. The sorcerer kings do have a few defilers in their staff, but everybody else gets killed. And therefore, they created...
The preservers are ordered under the Veiled Alliance.
Right.
Safe houses in pretty much every single city-state. And that's how the preservers pass knowledge onto each other and teach each other. And whoever has the talent, because they're trying to recruit things to... they're the underground. They're the resistance to the evil defilers, the rogue defilers, and the sorcerer kings themselves and the Templars. At least that's the basics of it. But
and therefore, defilers, on the other hand, are loners for the most part. They don't want anybody knowing that they're defilers because they'll be killed on sight.
Everybody hates them. Druids hate them. Clerics hate them. Templars want to arrest them unless they're doing the Sorcerer King's bidding. Preservers hate them.
And other defilers may turn them in for gold
yeah,
gold,
they might
ceramic
next
treasure.
turn steal your wizard spell book or whatever you use as a spell book. Oh, that's another thing as well. Since magic is pretty much outlawed for the most part in all the city states, preservers had to be, or any casters had to be very cautious with their spell books, and of course literacy also is not exactly is rarer as well. So they took in some interesting ways to hide their spell books. Some people use braids. Some people have scars. Some people utilize bits of pottery or wax tablets or anything else, often encoded, so that the caster knows what the hex the patterns mean. But anybody who else has find it, it's just simply gibberish or just patterns. Oh, and they also have a proficiency, which in the second edition was the skills, and they have a somatic concealment one, so they can hide their hand waving and such.
Yeah, so they don't. So all the somatic stuff is hidden.
Yes.
So it only looks like to be verbal and have whatever items they need to as a material.
Yes.
That they need to use.
Which can still give you away if you're not careful.
Yeah. Obviously, if you have a belt for material stuff, people are gonna suspect something.
Yes, they are. So that ends our video on the magic of Dark Sun. As usual, if you enjoyed our video, hit a like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you next time on Boredom Sated.
See you later.